Describing unconscious bias and stereotypes. Defining unconscious bias. Unconscious bias refers to the automatic judgments and assumptions we make about people without even realizing it. These biases can shape our perceptions, decisions, and interactions, often in ways we don't consciously intend. Example of unconscious bias. During a job interview, a manager unconsciously favors a candidate who shares a similar background or interests, like attending the same university or having similar hobbies. This preference might not be based on the candidate's qualifications or experience, but rather on a sense of familiarity. This unconscious bias can impact hiring decisions and overlook more qualified candidates. Defining stereotypes. Stereotypes are oversimplified ideas or beliefs about a group of people based on traits like race, gender, age, or other characteristics. While these generalized assumptions might apply to some individuals, they are often inaccurate and do not reflect everyone within the group. Example of stereotype. A teenager applies for a job, and the hiring manager immediately assumes they are inexperienced and less reliable simply because of their age. However, the teenager has years of volunteer experience and a strong work ethic. This stereotype leads to a biased perception that does not reflect the individual's true abilities. Avoiding unconscious bias for vehicle for hire drivers. Unconscious bias. Example: favoring passengers based on appearance. Situation: as a vehicle for hire driver, you might find yourself feeling more comfortable or inclined to engage with passengers similar to you, whether it's in terms of gender, race, or age. For example, you may unconsciously be friendlier or more welcoming to a young passenger who looks like they might be from your community, while being less engaging with an older or non-local passenger. How to avoid this bias. Self-awareness. Recognize that your natural inclination might be to favor passengers who are more similar to you in appearance, but it's essential to treat each passenger with the same level of respect and professionalism. Their appearance, and avoid making assumptions based on their looks. Remember that each passenger has different preferences for the ride, and focusing on their needs is key. Example: a passenger in their 60s requests a ride, and you might assume they'll be slow to respond or need more assistance getting into the car. Instead, approach the situation with an open mind, asking the passenger how you can assist, and don't make assumptions based on their age. Unconscious bias. Example: assumptions about passengers' socioeconomic status. Situation: when picking up passengers, you might unconsciously assume that people with higher-end clothing or luxury items are more likely to tip generously, while those dressed casually might be less likely to do so. How to avoid this bias. Stay neutral. Focus on providing the best service to all passengers, regardless of their appearance or what they are wearing. Treat each ride as an opportunity to give great customer service. Action. No matter what someone wears, maintain your professional demeanor and focus on the quality of your service. Example: a passenger in a business suit gets into your vehicle, and you might assume they are in a rush and require a fast, direct route. Meanwhile, a passenger in casual clothing may appear laid back, but they could also have important work to get to. Focus on their needs, communicate clearly, and avoid assumptions based on their attire. Unconscious bias. Example: favoring passengers with local accents. Situation: as a driver, you may unconsciously feel more comfortable with passengers who speak in your native language or accent, while passengers with a foreign or non-local accent may be treated less warmly, or you might unintentionally rush them or not engage as much. How to avoid this bias. Cultural sensitivity. Recognize that all passengers are equally valuable, regardless of how they speak. Make an effort to be polite and patient with every passenger, even if there are language barriers. Action. If you encounter a passenger with a strong accent, or who speaks a language that you don't fully understand, be patient and work with them to clarify questions. Make sure your communication is clear, and ensure that the passenger feels comfortable throughout the ride. Example. A passenger with a heavy accent asks for directions, and you feel unsure of how to understand them. Rather than rushing them or showing impatience, offer to use GPS or ask if they need help with their destination to ensure the ride goes smoothly. Why stereotyping is bad for vehicle for hire drivers. Stereotyping passengers based on gender or age. Situation. You might assume that women or elderly passengers need more assistance, or that younger passengers are more likely to be disrespectful or make demands. These assumptions can lead to unfair treatment or missed opportunities to give great service. Rights back. Missed opportunities. If you stereotype based on gender or age, you may not engage with passengers in the way. They prefer or overlook opportunities to provide the best service possible. Unequal service. This kind of stereotyping can lead to unequal service, where passengers who don't fit the stereotype you hold are treated unfairly, potentially leading to frustration and negative reviews. Example, you pick up an elderly passenger and assume they might need extra help entering the car. However, the passenger is independent and declines assistance. By stereotyping, you may make the passenger feel uncomfortable or patronized. Instead, ask politely if they need help and respect their response. Stereotyping passengers.
True Drake Warrior, and I, Egon. Your fears made flesh. I will riddle this hole with a hail of harpoons, with every last drop of my being. of scale you might be, foul dragon, but I will riddle with holes your rotten hide. With a hail of harpoons! With every last drop of my being! With every last drop of my being! being! Solid of scale you might be, foul dragon, but I will riddle with holes your rotten hide. With a hail of harpoons! With every last drop of my being! scale you might be, foul dragon, but I will riddle with holes your rotten hide. With a hail of harpoons! With every last drop of my being! Hereby vow you will rue this day. Behold, a true great warrior, and I, Egon. Solid of scale you might be, foul dragon, but I will riddle with holes your rotten hide. With a hail of harpoons, with every last drop of my being.